Hello, everyone. This is Björn Strid from the Night Flight Orchestra.
Beautiful. Thanks so much. Give Us the Moon feels like your most cinematic album yet. Can you talk about the inspiration behind this more expansive, narrative-driven approach?
Well, I mean, the band has gone through quite a lot the latest years. Obviously, with the passing of our friend and guitarist David Andersson, who I formed the band with, and so we needed to take our time, and I mean, we had to grieve as a band and as friends and sort of trying to pick up the pieces in the end, and find the joy within music and again and try to um write something uplifting, after everything we gone through, and I think that's why this album became quite multi-layered and I guess cinematic or quite dreamy as well, because it's a lot to go through, and as we always do, it's like I think we can almost move between different genres on the same album. It's somehow it works. I think that was also a guiding star to not have any sort of limitations musically, and to just put our emotions in there. And I think it is very much of an explosion of emotions when you listen to this album. It's I always say that, that our albums take you on a journey, but I think this one is going to take you on a journey on a different level, and those songs are working out really well live as well. We've already tried them, we've been on a European tour, so it's we had to do something. We knew it was going to be a challenge, and we had to pull through somehow and had to dig extra deep and take David's world with us and turn it into our own somehow. And so I feel like he's been very present when we created this album. And yeah, I mean, we wanted to make him proud. We wanted it to be a celebration of his life, and also this about this band, that we have together that means so much to us. So that journey needed to continue, and that's something that David wanted as well. So hopefully he can somehow hear it, and we hopefully made him proud, and we made ourselves proud, getting through it, and then hopefully showed all the doubters out there that we can, still pull this off because it's a very sincere album.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And we can hear that. Did the question of you guys stopping ever come up because of what had happened?
Well, I mean, there was, yeah, for a while. I mean, it felt quite dark. Like I mean, because obviously David was, I started the band with David, and so our dream, it felt like our dream sort of died a bit, and I didn't really know what to do with that feeling. But then, you know, talking to him basically on his deathbed about the continuation of the band, for him it was only natural that we were going to continue that journey, and that the journey is far from over. So that it definitely helps having that talk with him. Um, that inspired me, as sad as it was to lose him, and knowing that that was probably our last meeting, which it was. And
Yeah.
yeah, that
But
was very very tough.
yeah, but as you said,
Mm.
knowing that that's something that he wanted to do is definitely more like a blessing and a reason to put everything into this one and just go, yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That definitely helped. Yeah.
yeah. And
Mm.
this is your debut with Napalm Records. Did working with a new label change anything for you guys in the creative process?
They had some different ideas on how to promote the album, and so it was just interesting doing something different. We've had some really good years with Nuclear Blast, but we came to a point where we wanted to try out something else. So yeah, I mean it's been really good so far. And we've done quite a lot of North American press as well. We even ended up doing interview with CNN, which was just insane.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened, but yeah.
Wow.
So there's been some different takes on things, and new doors opening. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, oh, that's awesome. And how about the title of the album? Does it symbolize anything special for you guys?
Well, I mean, David wrote this letter that he wanted to be remembered as some kind of an astronaut floating around in space, and I guess that inspired it a little bit, and also the fact that this journey that we've been making and coming out on the other side, it was almost like we wanted to tap ourselves on the shoulder. It's like, now give us the moon, will you? It's kind of
Yeah.
that vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Mm.
Speaking a little bit more of space, and I know you guys are quite intergalactic sort of thing. What is your opinion on aliens and all of that?
Well, I don't think we're alone.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. I don't have any theories or whatever, but I don't think we're alone. And I would say that David was sort of more into sort of he was very much of a he was always longing somewhere else. So I think that became or that's why he was so interested in it, and maybe I was more sort of grounded in that sense, even though I'd like to escape as well, but I was a bit more fine with reality
Yeah.
than him. So I think that's where there was an interesting exchange between uh us two, and then he was reading like urban fantasy books, like three books a week. It was just insane. So he yeah, I mean, I think he also introduced me. Like, he's sort of into that because, like, when I think too much about space, I get like an existential vertigo. I think
Yes.
that's the best way of describing it.
Mhm.
Um, but he sort of introduced me to that world where I felt a bit more comfortable, and I tried to keep him on the ground a bit. So yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah,
yeah.
that's so cool. I myself, I do, I'm of the same belief that we're not alone and that we may not necessarily have a God, but there may be, I don't know, some alien being or something. But I'm the same where if I think about it too much, I kind of freak myself out.
Yeah, yeah. I need to just like, okay. I'm here. I'm eating potatoes, and it's like I need to be in the moment, whatever,
Yeah.
and not be too spaced out. I want things to be so damn normal. You know
Yes.
what I mean? It's like if I get too, yeah,
It's yeah, no, totally
yeah,
agree.
mm,
And
yeah,
there's always a strong retro vibe to your music, but this album seems to lean even deeper into the AOR and yacht rocky stylings. Was that a
yeah.
conscious decision or?
Hard to say. I mean, I think we worked more with keyboards than before as well. So I think that put another layer to it, and yeah, I think. We constantly get inspired by you know uh, uh, from the late 70s and early 80s. I mean, a lot of bands were doing different genres on the same album, and nobody cared. It's like that's
Yeah.
what you do. And look at bands like 10cc or whatever. It's and that constantly inspires us, but it's also very important for us that it's not all about nostalgia. We feel that it's a way of writing and performing songs that is just a tradition that needs to make sense today as well. And so it's a tradition that we like to carry on and provide something that we feel is missing out there. And maybe I don't know. This album sounds even more like a soundtrack, and it might have something to do with the keyboards. I've been working a lot with the vocals as well, and found new ways of singing and as well, and like new layers. And so it's hard to say exactly what it is, but yeah,
Yeah. And speaking more on that, the band has members from heavier acts like Soilwork, Arch Enemy. How do you balance those roots with the lighter, more melodic nature of TNFO?
well, I mean, I think both bands represent me in a really good way, and who I am, and also musically, it's amazing to be able to have two bands in two different genres,
Yeah.
and quite established bands at that. So, um, for me, the switch is very easy, and I think it's just really interesting to sort of go between these genres whenever I feel like it, I was gonna say. But I mean, because if I write something, I definitely know if it's for Night Flight or Soulwork. It's like I either have the Soulwork vest on or the Night Flight hat. I don't know. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And
Mm.
knowing these two bands, it's just so crazy to me. But I guess it makes a lot of sense with musicians to go between genres. Like it makes a lot of sense. You guys don't
Yeah.
have to be stuck to just one genre.
No, no, exactly. I think that's a beautiful thing, and I mean, I can only encourage. I'm kind of puzzled to why metal guys don't start other projects that are completely different. If they start a project, it's very often it's like, oh, I'm going to do like old school thrash metal, which is awesome. I
Yeah.
love that too. I've done that with Terror 2000 back in the day. But it's like if you want to do something different, do something different. And I'm not sure why people don't do that coming from metal bands or
Yeah.
I think it's I can highly recommend it.
Yeah, yeah. We need
Yes.
more of
Yeah.
it because the talent, like
Yeah.
especially with your voice, how you can go from deep growling, metal vocals to more
Mm.
poppy. It's amazing.
Well, thank you. No, I mean it's exciting for me as well, but I think it needs to be exciting. If you're going to be a singer, it needs to be exciting. Then might as well explore it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And you've opened for Kiss and played massive festivals like Wacken. How do you adapt your show for more intimate venues versus those big epic stages?
Well, I mean, I wish we had an endless budget where we could, bring a 747 on stage and all that stuff, and hopefully that will come in the future. But
One day.
but we try to do everything we can to make it a special show, and we have some stage props as well. I mean, it's hard to bring everything if we go. Not that we have that much, but going to Australia, it's not like we can. I mean, maybe we can find some palm trees in Australia. I don't think it's going to be that hard. But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like we try to make our best out of each and every show, depending on whether it's Wacken or if it's a club, like a smaller venue.
yeah,
But I think we're really good at working a stage, no matter the size, and
yeah,
we've grown a lot as a live band. And I mean, our new outfits are amazing. They look good on the stage as well, so that's another thing. I think it brings it on to a whole new level.
And do you guys individually create your outfits for yourselves, or is there someone else doing that for you?
We're very involved in it. I usually have an idea. The girls have some ideas as well when it comes to their outfits, and yeah. So, but I mean, that mind is always spinning,
Yeah,
to find. I think it's fun.
definitely. So
Yeah, I love
cool.
it.
And
Mm.
you're heading back to Australia after your 2023 tour. What stood out to you from your last visit here, and what can fans expect this time around?
Well, it was a very special tour. Just coming to Australia with the Night Flight Orchestra was, I don't know, it felt like the second coming of ABBA, I was going to say.
Oh,
But,
yeah, it did.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, it was amazing. I never thought that would happen. It's like, do I really get to be on stage in Australia in a glittery cape and a beret? It's like, yes.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
amazing. And then coming back again, I think, yeah, it's gonna be great. But the first time is obviously something special, and we really connected with the crowd, and it was kind of it was a bit of a weird journey for me as well. I mean, I wrote a song about it, Melbourne May I, on the new album, and it started with getting a call from my mom when we connected in Doha in Qatar, on the way to Australia, and she called me and she said they did some tests and she had breast cancer. So that was really tough to get that call, on our way to the other side of the world, but the tour, I had to keep it together, and but the crowds were so amazing. There was a good vibe in the band, and I felt like I was surrounded, by family, and it all sort of culminated in Melbourne, where it was just a crazy show, and I sort of broke down a bit after the show, and after keeping it together, and yeah, it was just a beautiful evening. It was a beautiful tour in general, but I just had to write something
yeah.
about that evening in Melbourne. So
Yeah.
it was a special tour in many ways, and that was my 11th time in Australia, and this time is going to be my 12th, which is just insane
Yeah.
to just think about that, take
Yeah.
that in.
Crazy. And is it the
Yeah.
second time for a lot of the Night Flight orchestras, for a lot of them, or is it have they been here a few times as well?
No, no. So it's their second time. So I get
Yeah.
to sort of relive the how it is coming to Australia for the first time,
Yeah.
on that previous tour. But yeah, it's people loved it, so they're really excited to come back. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
And how has the dynamic between band members evolved since forming in 2007?
Well, I mean, the vibe from the beginning was what was really fantastic. I mean, we only got together for the first time in 2010 to jam, when we found the right members. I mean, the seed was planted in 2007, the idea or whatever.
Mhm.
But we instantly connected. We knew these people since before, and then with the addition of the girls as well, that really added a whole new dimension, both on a personal level and also musically. And so there's a really great vibe, and you can tell that we have so much fun on stage, and that's real. That's and if you see the video or watch the video for way to spend the night, that's us. That's
Yeah.
like there's no acting, and I think you can tell. It's like, we might be wearing like these outfits, but the emotions are real. It's and people can feel that.
That's nice. So you guys are all
Mm.
obviously good friends off the stage as well as on the
Yes,
stage. Yeah.
yes, yeah, yeah,
Oh, love it.
100%. Yeah.
And what do you think sets AOR apart in the modern music scene, and why is it important for you to protect it as the band's mission suggests?
Well, I mean, there's so many sort of interpretations of what AOR is, and sometimes it feels like it's enough with like distorted guitars and some 80s keyboards, and suddenly it's AOR. For us, it's way more multi-layered than that. We want to show that there's different ways of expressing AOR, because it used to be so much more diverse. So it's something we take seriously, and we obviously last time we had the Death to False AOR shirts on the tour,
Yeah.
so obviously we're not taking it that seriously, but we just had to make a shirt because we were getting a little bit sick of bands, putting out endless tracks of just distorted guitars and some 80s
And
keyboards
calling
with
it.
like and triggered drums and everything that is not real AR to us. We're
Yeah.
we're not going to be too snobby about it and be too elitistic, but we feel that it's way more diverse than a lot of bands
Yeah.
put out there. So yeah.
No, that makes sense. And
Mm.
speaking of, and I'm really interested to hear this because you are across a couple of genres yourself. What music do you listen to at the moment, or what are you really liking at the moment? And it can be in any, like, do you have any surprise genres that you really like?
The prize genres. That's a good question. Yeah, this is going to sound very sophisticated and like I'm really old, but yeah, no, I mean, I'm listening to a little bit of jazz at the moment, but blending it up with, I mean, the never-ending journey of finding lost bands within the classic rock and AOR genre, and there's the Burt Bacharach and Elvis Costello album, Painted from Memory, which is an absolute amazing album that anybody should check out.
Yeah.
It's just wild. It's great. Um, then I discovered a fellow Swedish band that is sort of sounding, it has sort of like NFO elements, but they sing in Swedish. And they're called Hugorm, which means viper in Swedish.
Awesome. That
You should
sounds
check that out. I think anybody could enjoy that, even though it's in Swedish. So
okay. I'll have to
I can
look
highly,
up how to translate that somehow on Google to look up the band name. I'll listen to them.
yeah. So it's Huggorm,
Okay.
Hugorm.
All right. All right.
So
And what genre were they?
would say that it's sort of yeah, I guess you could say AOR and or just classic rock, but it's like it has sort of like a Kiss Destroyer vibe mixed with Elton John, and it's fantastic melodies, great singing,
Yeah,
uh cool lyrics too. I'm sure you can translate them somehow. So
I will.
no, but I can recommend them. They're really cool.
Yeah. Oh, that's wicked. And how about any, do you still listen to any heavy metal or melodic metal, death metal or anything like that?
Absolutely. Yes, I do as well. I'm trying to think. That's always the toughest question. Well, Tribulation's new album I really like the new Catatonia songs that came out, the singles. Trying to think if there's something that's really extreme. Um, I mean, Storm of the Lights Bane by Dissection is always my go-to album.
Yeah, yeah, always a classic.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. And your music has been described as both nostalgic and futuristic. How do you strike that balance between honoring the past and sounding fresh?
That's a very good question. I'm not quite sure what it is we're doing, but I think we're strongly connected to sort of childhood memories, but that it needs to uh, be sort of in the now,
Mhm.
that it needs to be sort of like a timeless expression.
Yes.
And that's a tough balance.
Yeah,
But I think usually we find an expression that sounds refreshing, and I mean somebody once said, I can't remember who, but it's like bringing you back to tomorrow. That's how they describe our music, and I think
that's such a
it
good way to
sounds
put it.
yeah, sounds quite pretentious maybe, but I think it describes it in a really good way.
It does, because as you
Yeah,
said before, something you said before was that it's nostalgic, but you don't want it to just purely just focus on nostalgia. You want it to be fresh. And it's like,
yeah,
it's a really
yeah,
good way to put it. Yeah.
yeah. It's
Interesting.
filling a void. I think
Yeah.
that's important. Yeah.
Yeah. And last question, you've played some incredible venues, but if you could take the Night Flight Orchestra anywhere in the universe for a concert, where would it be?
Um. Well, yeah, there's many places. We would love to play the classic venue that ABBA played in Melbourne. I can't remember what it's called now. It's an outdoor venue. We
Yes.
were there visiting it last time, and that would be so cool.
Yeah.
Go in the footsteps of ABBA. Um, but then, I mean, Red Rocks in America would be fantastic. Madison Square Garden. I mean, it's sort of like the classic places.
Yeah.
Royal Albert Hall. I mean, Opeth has done them all. It's like,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah, no, but yeah, it's. I think that would be a dream.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. And well, one day I reckon I can see you guys playing there. Did you get to play any of those with Soilwork? Madison Square?
No,
No.
we played the Apollo in London, the classic
Yes.
uh, place together with Arch Enemy and Flames. We did that in October. That's what a beautiful theater that is.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Amazing. All these beautiful places to see. But we're so looking forward to you guys coming here just at the end of the month, actually. It's coming up really soon. Thank
Yep.
you, Bjorn, so much for your time
Thank
today.
you. Thank you, and thanks for the support.